Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. This is going to be a VR to Sylvie at Tarot Magpie, love the name. And this is hashtag Tarotmance Tropes. So this is like romance tropes that have been in movies and books and series forever. And I love it. I've watched several of them. This is going to be good. So number one is enemies to lovers, like 10 things I hate about you, where they hate the person and then in the end they end up being romantically engaged, right? So this was an easy one to choose. Tarot Mucha. Tarot Mucha is by Los Scarabeo, and it's one of these decks. And at the time, I've had this for a really long time, so at the time I did not understand. When was this published? 2014. So I did not realize that what they mean by that is just in the style of Mucha, not actual Mucha. So I was very upset when I received the deck. And first of all, it's a shiny cardstock, but it's been shuffled within an inch of its life. And I am a big fan of Alphonse Mucha. So this is not it. This is not nearly it. This is nowhere near Mucha. I was so upset. Oops, there's the title card. And, but I spent my good hard-earned money on it and thought, all right. And at the time, I also wasn't an RWS fan. And this is really RWS, right? So I was very angry and I hated it very much, but I used it anyway. And as I used it, I realized that it's a really great reader. It has a very soft art style and some really beautiful artwork. And it reads well for romance. So eventually, Tarot Mucha and I became inseparable. Did I show you my peonies? I got these on my walk this morning. All right, speaking of romance. So Tarot Mucha is my enemies to lovers. The next one is friends to lover. That is the trope where we've got someone who is the best friend to the romantic lead. What was that one with Julia Roberts, where the guy is so in love with her, but he's stuck in the friend zone? And this one was a little more difficult. This got stickier as I went along. Where is my... Oh, hang on. And this is in a nice old beaded bag because look how this matches. It's perfect. Yeah. So this is my Spirit Keepers Revelation version 2. And I'm calling this my friends to lovers because I have been a fan of Benebell's from day one. I got I think Holistic Tarot was the first tarot book I ever bought, I think. And when she came out with just the practice rendering of the majors, I was right there on Instagram saying, yeah, you should turn this into a deck. And she just gave us those majors and said, you guys color them, do what you want with them. And then it became version 1, which I was lucky enough to snag a copy of. That sold out really quick. Oh, I love this. Yeah. And then version 2 was the Vitruvian edition, which she did with sepia ink. She changed a few of the cards. But when Revelation came out, things were quite different. She taught herself to color on the computer. And this coloration is done, I don't even know if you can tell on the viewer. It's actually, each color is patterns. It's really staggering. But then the costumes were added, and the backgrounds, which are in many times actual places. So this has been my friend for a long time. But over time, Spirit Keepers and I are very much romantically involved. I love Spirit Keepers. So that is number 2. Okay, number 3 is forced proximity. And this, that sounds pretty dramatic. Like you got stuck in a cave with somebody and that was the only person you had, so then you fall in love with them. I mean, I guess. A deck you used for a month, took on a holiday, or made yourself work with it, changed your relationship with it. And I did a 78-day, 1 card a day study with this on Instagram. And when I got this is Tarot of the Crone by Lorenzi-Prince. When I got this, I thought it was going to be a spooky, very witchy, very kind of, and the art does kind of say, make you believe that it's kind of creepy. There's a lot of people in robes and like close-ups of faces and, things like that, eyeballs. But in fact, it's a very nurturing, very loving deck. It's actually very quiet and very strong. I think this deck is more about finding strength in yourself than anything else. And the images are quite, that's intense, right? Spider. Snake. And in some cases, weird. That's the 8 of Cups. If you're an RWS person, and she does a little different thing with the courts as well. The Kings are shadow cards, which speak about how the suit can go overboard, right? There's also color coding in this deck. So black means something, yellow means something, blue means something, green means something, brown means something. But after an extended period of looking it up, using it every single day for 78 days, 2.5 months or so, I began to feel the real strength of this deck, which is internal power. Seeing the back and forth that we all have, and understanding that it's okay. You can love yourself anyway. Love these cards. Okay, so that is forced proximity. All right, so the next one is Soulmates. This is a deck you fell in love with immediately. Okay, so this is the first time you're going to get two with this one, because there's one deck that I thought of just immediately, and then I thought, oh, well, but this one too. I'm telling you. When it comes to love, I mean, so many of these decks. This is in a bag that Gabi Angus-West made with her. She didn't do a Kickstarter, but she did do a pre-order. So this is Tarot Avatara. A bomb wrapped in a ribbon. Yeah. And the Avatara is Frida Kahlo. Oh, Frida. Oh, my goodness. There is a new kind of, what do you call that when it's got the real documentary on Frida that I watched recently. And I love the movie with, I can't think of it now, but I was already a great lover of this artwork. I grew up a lot for most of my childhood in New Mexico. And in Santa Fe, where the art is it's in the everywhere. And so, of course, New Mexico art, there's going to be Frida. And so these images, not only that, but this is a Thoth-based deck. So she used the Thoth color coding. So both things are layered onto this deck beautifully, just beautifully. And this deck is a bit dramatic, as was Frida. But we gotta love it, right? So that is Avatara. The other deck that I want to put in this category, this was a very early deck for me. And I loved it immediately. This is the first edition of Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot. And I mean, she's gone everywhere with me. She's sticky and bowed and smells fabulous. She has ghost hunted with me and sat on the beach with me and just done some amazing work. And This is a soul deck for sure. Yeah. Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot, the first edition. Okay, number 5 is the slow burn. And again, this could have been Spirit Keepers, could have been Thoth. Thoth, I got it in the mail. I was only vaguely aware of tarot. I wasn't interested in it at all. I get it in the mail, and then the torture of trying to figure out tarot when you don't know anybody who does tarot was tricky. But the one I chose is Tarot of the Spirit. And Slow Burn, a deck you didn't have the best first impression of, but the more you work with it, the more you like it. And I remember seeing Kelly at The Truth of Story unbox this deck and thinking, this is not something I would ever be interested in. And then it came to me through a trade or a gift or, oh, you know what it was? It was off the, this card though, this is my daughter, the turtles, the trade table, the potlatch table at Newt's. And I saw the deck and the book. And the book is key. The book is, I mean, I suppose you can read it without the book. Yeah, I imagine the little white book is great. But the more you read about this, and Pamela Eakins has a channel here on YouTube. She's incredibly educated, and the videos are long and they're built to be classwork. So I have listened to 3 or 4 of those lectures, and every time I learn something new. This deck is deeply Kabbalistic, and each of the cards is painted over a map of the Tree of Life. And the more you use it, the more you read about it, the more you enter into Pamela's understanding of the Kabbalah and the tarot, the better it gets. It just keeps getting better. And I love it. Love, 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 love it. And now, when I see this artwork, I think, this is great. Beautiful. This chariot, people are like, what? You got to read the book. Because there's always a little more than what you thought or assumed, or yeah. So that is Tarot of the Spirit. And the next one is Opposites Attract. Not your style, but you love it. And that one is, this came in a trade. And trading is so hard because you're like, oh, should I let this deck go? People want the deck because it's good. La, 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 la. But I'm going to tell you, I was never attracted to soul cards. When I saw people opening this deck, I was not attracted to it. I did not enjoy the artwork from a standpoint of seeing it over the YouTube. I did not think I would ever be in any way interested at all. And yet, when you get this deck in your hands, and I know there are 1,000 of you out there who are screaming about soul cards. And I didn't have soul cards. I wasn't interested in soul cards because I wasn't interested in this type of artwork. And I was so wrong. I was wrong. Now I want all of her decks. Because this stuff is so enchanting. And what I mean by that is, as you look at the artwork, and it's hard for me to even look up, you get drawn into these paintings. And you find little pieces that just connect to the mind, speak to you where you live. Look at that. Ugh. So yeah, this is my opposites attract, because I never would have just gone out and purchased this. And now I just can't get enough. Oh, so good. So beautiful, so deep. Yeah, hang on. Sorry, I needed more incense. Okay, so next one is number 7, the blind date. An impulse buy or a gift that you got without any research and you ended up loving. So I happen to have gotten married to a blind date. So I think a blind date can sometimes be a miracle. And I have 2 decks here. I have one that I got as an impulse buy, and that is the Dirt Gems. And this is now a mass market deck. My version is the indie one. I think it's slightly different cardstock. That's probably it. Maybe different gilding. This one's pretty shiny. So I was in Portland and cruising metaphysical shops, as I do. And I just saw it and went, wow, this is really fabulous, beautiful. I had not heard of it. And the lady at the shop was like, yeah, this is a really, nice oracle deck. And oracle. And it was a little expensive because you had to buy the books separately. It was retail therapy. I mean, there I was in Portland, and I needed some comfort, and Dirt Gems was there for me. And little did I know, boy, I'll tell you what, it even took me a minute to open it and really get into it. But this goes with so much. And the words of the author are so wise. And it gives you a little insight into these amazing plant allies. Very aptly named Dirt Gems. Oh, let me show you this one. This one's so stunning. Those are the backs. Yeah, so that was the impulse buy without really even knowing what it was. And then this was, I've told this story before. This was a gift for my friend Nancy at Star and Flurry Tarot. And there I was at Newt's reading in the tent, whatever you call it. And Nancy comes up, she goes, I just thought that you might really enjoy this. And I set aside one of my 3 decks. I usually have 3 decks on my table. And ended up doing readings with this. And it just sang. Like immediately. No questions, no introductions. Just like meeting a guy for the first time and dancing, you know? Ugh, yum. This is such a delicious deck. Did I tell you what it is? This is a Tiny Sparrow. Tiny Sparrow Tarot. And it is an absolute treasure. Yeah. Okay, second chance deck. This is a deck that you plan to get rid of and it worked its way back in, or that you did get rid of it. In this case, I did get rid of it. I had the Crow Tarot, and I had it in the good cardstock, in the German edition. I just couldn't get along with it. I just couldn't. It didn't speak to me. Sometimes I think when you get a deck like that and it doesn't talk to you, it's maybe in part because you have high expectations because other people like it so much. And certainly people love this deck. And some people that I have great respect for really love this deck. And I love corvids. I like crows, especially magpies, ravens, all of them. We have scrub jays. I love the scrub jays. And it just wasn't talking to me. But again, Nancy gave me a copy of the pocket edition. And for some reason, this one works better for me. I don't know if it's the smaller size, feels more bird-like. I used it the other day with the Urban Crow, which I recently got. And that was really fun. The two speak to each other well. That could be later on we have Love Triangle. That could be a love triangle, but I haven't had them together long enough to really say that. However, it gave me a new appreciation for this deck, which is the second time I've owned it. And I really don't do that, I would say, ever. I don't think I've ever sold something or traded it and then gotten it back, honestly. But this one came back to me as a gift, and I like it better now. We're starting to get along better. We're starting to like each other more. Okay, so that's the Crow Tarot. That's the second chance one. And number 9, Unrequited Love. I love you so much. Why don't you love me? All right. So I traded for this, and I've been trying to get into it. This is Tarot of the She. And again, it's one of those situations where I know everybody loves this. Why can't I work with it? And I keep it front and center on my shelf so that I can reach for it when I have nothing else going, which is never. And I don't understand why it doesn't love me. But honestly, it is going to stay on my shelf until I'm ready to use it. Yeah, that's really cool. And when I'm ready, it's there for me. I'm determined. This one is going to speak to me eventually. I'm not going to quit. Oh, that one's good. Okay. So that is Tarot of the She. And the other one is, and this has been an ongoing struggle that, again, I'm not giving up. She might not love me, but I'm trying. The Gaian Tarot. This is the Schiffer edition, which I have trimmed twice. And some of these are really just haunting, beautiful images. But some of them are like, I don't like this one. I don't know why. He's okay. It reminds me of like weird hippie friends of my parents. I like the animal stuff a little more than I like the human stuff. I like that one. The fire breather. I like that one. Like that. That's beautiful. But like the Hierophant in this, I don't like. Oh, I love that. I like the seal over here. Or is it an otter? It might be an otter. I don't love the hanged one. Love this. So we're having a hard time. We're trying to work it out. Where is that? I don't love this. And I hope that eventually I can overcome whatever it is that, yeah, see this. Oh, this is the 7 of Fire. I just don't like it. I don't like it. So I need to figure out what it is about these cards that aggravates me and get over it. Hopefully. All right, coming around the mountain. Number 10, the Love Triangle. And this is 2 decks that are in competition or a pair of decks that you always use together. And I have a couple of pairs that I use together. I use Marcelo Robledo and the Lily Stone. I use Starchild and Moonchild. Those seem to be like this really cool opposites thing. And in this cool Kelly Bear pouch, I have my 2 favorites to work together. And that is, let's see, how am I going to do this? This is all like in my lap. Okay. Let's see if I can hold these up. Baba Studios, Bohemian Gothic and Victorian Romance. And I actually like to use these in romantic readings where I'm trying to get it whether this is a romance that's going to work. It can be a very short, even 1 card reading, 3 cards, or as long as like a kind of zodiacal houses reading, where you can really dig deep and try and figure out what it is that works between a couple and what does not. And I think in part because the same people created these 2 decks, and they are very light and dark. They work well in that type of reading. They tend to kind of dig out those niggling little questions of, why is it that I want this relationship to work out, but it just never seems to? What's the difference? Love that one. So that is my love triangle. And that's it. That's the end, people. That is Romance Tropes by our Tarot Magpie. Thank you for coming.